Hi and welcome to Edwards Motorhomes. Now today Tony and I are going to do another handover video for you, this time on the Ford chassis Roller Team Zefiro 696. Hope you find it informative. Okay, so as with our other handover videos, what we're going to do is we're going to start on the outside and then work our way in. So the first thing to show you is behind the passenger door here, you have your fuel filler and your AdBlue tank. So you do have to open the passenger door to gain access to either. Next, of course, we have the habitation door with your awning light just above. Then we have your fridge vents here and here. Now, underneath that, we have the access point for your wastewater tank. So again, you just pull that away and you drain down your wastewater. Now, most campsites will have a grid that you can drive across where you can drain straight down. Next, we have the cassette for your toilet. Now, when we go in the van, I'll show you, obviously, with your toilet what you need to do. But what happens is on the toilet bowl itself, there'll be a grey handle, and the blade must be closed for you to be able to release the cassette. And how you do that is you've got this blue catch just here. So you lift that, pull it out. Now, campsites will always have what they call an Alson point. Now, on the Alson point, you just wheel this to your Alson, lock that back in, you take the blue cap off, you press the blue button on the back, that lets air flow so it doesn't glug everywhere. So you'll drain that down in your Alson point, flush it through with the hose, drain down again, add your new blue or green chemical directly into the cassette. Don't put it down the toilet because it is strong chemicals and it will stain. But you put it in, cap back on, that goes back into there, job done. Then we have the flue for your heating. Now you'll notice on this window we have a sensor just there. The reason for that sensor is because your flue is directly below the window. If you've got your heating on, obviously you don't want the gases going back up. So if that window is closed, your heating will work. If it's open, it won't. Next, we have access to your garage just here. And of course we do have a light just inside the garage there as well. When we come around to the rear of the vehicle, you can see that we've got your reversing camera just up there, bike rack here, and your spare wheel is underslung. When we come around to the other side of the garage, now the 696 you can have in two guises. You can have the fixed bed or you can have the flex space bed. This one's obviously got the flex space bed, and how that works is you have this winch just here and you lock it in. Just there, and then by winding up or down, you can raise or higher the bed. Now, I'm going to get Tony just to pop in here and look up because you have a clip just up there. And if you want to release the bed to get it to its maximum height, you do need to pull that out so it will go up that little bit further. Okay, so as we come round, next we have your electric hookup point. Now you will notice on the electric hookup point you've got this black catch. You do need to drop that down to be able to take it out. And then of course we have your gas locker just here. And your fresh water tank just here, which is again, just pop in the hose and you fill up your tank from there. Let's take a look inside. Okay, so next we come to your cab. Now with your cab, if we start off with the driver's door, you have your electric windows here for the two front windows. And below it, again, you can lock or unlock your cab doors. Then we have your electric mirrors here, and we have your headlights just here. Wash wipes, indicators. Here we have your Bluetooth controls, and over here we have your cruise control and your radio controls. Next, we have your radio itself, which again is a DAB system. And then we have your heating controls and your cab air conditioning underneath. Next to that, of course, we do have your hazard warning lights. We have a USB just there, and we have a 12-volt charging point just here. We also have another 12-volt charging point just here as well. Obviously, you have your driver and passenger airbags just here. And then, of course, we do have storage just there. Now, the two captain seats both swivel. And to do that, you have two catches underneath the actual seats themselves. The top catch, you just pull away and then spin the seat round. The other one will stay at the front, and that, when you pull, will just adjust the seat itself to move it round. Now the next thing, of course, we have in the cab are your Remus cab blinds. So if we look at the side ones to start off with, how these work is you pinch and slide. Always try and keep this front piece as straight as you possibly can. Then it works on a magnet, it'll lock into place. When you bring them back, again, get to that point, pull up, tuck in and clip in. Then we have your cab blinds, which again, you just pinch, slide across. Your reversing camera you might need to adjust slightly, and that locks in. Now, what I would say to you is you don't really want kids playing with these. They're very good, these blinds, but they're very fragile. They can be damaged very easily, and you just got to do them right. Now, like I said, you've got your reversing camera just there as well, but when you release these blinds as well, when you pop them away, just make sure, especially this one, that it's locked back in, because you don't want to be turning left and that comes shooting straight across in front of your face. And if you lock that one back, and that's your cab. Okay, so in your kitchen we have 3 gas hobs just here, and we have your sink. Now obviously for any of your water systems to work, you must have your water pump on, which we'll come to in a moment. Also, you got your cupboard space. Now with these cupboards you do need to drop this handle down to be able to open it up and then lock. So below the hobs you have your oven just here, and of course you have your storage area here with your cutlery tray just there. Underneath the oven you have your trip switches, and you also have your gas isolator switches just here. Over on this side we have your 3-way fridge freezer. So to turn it on, you press the black button just here. Now as you can see at the moment it's on automatic and it's come up electric because we're plugged into the mains. Now if you want to change that, you keep your finger on this button and hold, and it will flash. Now by using this button or this button you can change. So you can have just electric, you can have battery, you can have gas. Once you've decided what you want, press that button again and then it will come up with your temperature gauge. Again, that can be adjusted by those. Press again and then it's set. I'm going to knock it off for a second, but then I'm going to explain to you how this works. So if you've never used a 3-way fridge freezer before, obviously gas will only work when you're running off the gas system, so your gas must be turned on. Electric will only work if you're plugged into the mains. Battery will only work if the engine is running, because it's running from your vehicle battery. Now when it's on auto, it should monitor those things for you and do that automatically. But again, I would always look, because sometimes a van might do what it thinks is right, not necessarily what you think is right. So now we come to your 12-volt control panel. Now this button here turns your 12-volt systems on or off. Then if we go up to the top, this first one here will give you your interior temperature. Next one down is your vehicle battery. That one will turn on or off your awning light outside. And then this one is for your water pump. Now for you to use any of your water systems, you must have the water pump turned on. This one up here, S1, is your fresh water tank. Now how that will work is it will go from 0 to 33, 66, 99%. If we press the button again, it will give us R1, which is your wastewater tank. Works in the same way, 33, 66, 99%. Next one just here is for your leisure battery, and this one here is for your lights. So the lights do have their own individual switches, but when you come into the van, if you press that, any that you've left on will come on automatically. Then we come to your heating. So over here we have your thermostat for your heating. Now if we press this button here, it comes onto the first page. Press it again and you get your icons. Now what we want to do is we want to concentrate on the third icon to start off with, and this is your heat source. So you press on there and you have a choice: gas, mix 1, which is gas and 1 electric element, mix 2, which is gas and 2 electric elements, electric element 1 or electric element 2. So I'll press the back button. So how that basically works is, obviously if you're wild camping and you've got no electric hookup, you would just have to run off your gas. If you're plugged into the mains, you can just run off your electric, or if you've got your gas turned on and you're plugged into the mains, you can run on mix. So once we've done that one, the next thing we need to do is set your temperature. So that's the first icon. So you press on here and you can take that all the way up to 30 degrees. And whatever the temperature you choose, for argument's sake 20 degrees, you will just press on there now and it will set the system for 20 degrees. Now, you don't need to have water in your system to be able to use your heating, but you do obviously need it for your water systems, which brings us to the second icon, which is your hot water. So when you press on there, you have a choice of off, eco, which is 40 degrees, hot, which is 60, or boost, which will prioritise your hot water over everything else. Next, we come to your vents. So with your vents, you have a choice of off or vent. And when you go onto the vents, that will go up to number 10. And that is literally how much air you are pushing through your vents at any one given time. When we come down to the bottom of the panel, the first one we have is your timer. So again, if you like to get up at 7 in the morning, you can set your heating to come on at 6, so it's lovely and warm when you get up. Next one is your clock. So again, by pressing on there, you can set your timer, press the button in, and you've got to the right time. Next one is your settings. So with your settings, you have offset to offset the screen, your temperature, so you can change from degrees to Fahrenheit, brightness of the panel, 12 or 24-hour clock, language, index, which I'll come back to in a second, and reset, so you can reset your system. Right, so I'm going to come back to the main screen when we're talking about index, because if you do something wrong or there's a glitch in your system, a warning triangle will come up just here. Now that can be for any reason. It could be there's an issue with the system. It could be the fact that you just haven't put your gas on and you're trying to run it off gas. Or it could be that you've put it to go on to run off mains electric and you haven't plugged that in. Now, if you click onto that icon of the triangle, it will give you a code. And that will be listed in your index. So you can always go to Truma and find out exactly what that code means. And more often than not, like I say, it's probably you haven't turned your gas on or you haven't plugged it into the mains. But it is very important to remember that. And also, if you do have an issue and that warning triangle comes up, sometimes it can take up to 15 minutes before it will allow you to reset your system. So next we're going to come on to your shower facilities and your toilet facilities. But before we do that, the one thing I do want to show you is when we were talking about the lights before, we're saying that obviously when you turn your mains on, any lights that you've left on will come on automatically. That's true, except in certain cases where you have these touch sensitive lights, which you do need to turn on yourself. Now next, of course, we have this full-size shower cubicle just here, and the screens do come directly straight round you. Then we have your toilet. Now with your toilet, the door also locks off your main living area. So when we come into the toilet, the first thing is the bowl. Now you'll see that it completely swivels round, so again you can get into the most comfortable position. Now when we look on top, you'll see that the blade is closed at the moment, and underneath you have this grey handle. Now when we were outside, we were talking about the fact that the cassette must have this blade across to be able to take it out. So you push the handle away to open it, pull it back to close. Now in all fairness, the only reason you want the toilet open is if you're using it. Apart from that, you need to keep it closed. In the back just here we have your flush. So again, that's an electric flush, so you must have your water pump on your 12-volt systems for that to work. And just behind here, you'll see we've got this green light. Now that's telling us that the cassette is empty. If that goes red, your cassette is full. Then of course, over here, we have your sink. We have storage underneath. More storage just up here. And of course, your light switch just there.
Okay, so next up is your boiler. Not in the usual sort of places that you'll find in the front, we're actually in the garage, which actually makes it a little bit easier to get to. So, if I open this up here, you'll just see the boiler unit just there. Just over to the side, however, is where your boiler drain is located. So if you'd like to have a little look down here. Okay, so you can see the switch. Now currently the boiler is locked off, okay, so if there was any water in there it wouldn't come out. Now if we were going to do a drain on it, what we'd do is turn that 90 degrees. If you notice when I did that, there's a little button just down here has popped out, and I'll just do it again just to show you. If you keep your eyes on, you'll see it pop out. That means your boiler is now open, so it will drain any water out of the boiler. Also, if you happen to fill the tank up whilst the boiler is open, it will just simply drain straight through the system. So to lock it off, let's pop that back and push that node back in. That's your boiler locked off. Now it has got an automatic drain at 2 degrees or less, but it's better for you just to check, just to make sure it's doing what it needs to do, because you don't want the van to be taking control and potentially doing anything wrong. It's better for you to check. Okay, so we're going to move on to your fresh water tank now. First things first, we are going to move this table out of the way, which I just want to quickly show you. There's a little tab under here. If you pull that in, it will move it backwards and forwards, and obviously left to right. It is located just underneath these two rear travel seats. Pop that off there. Okay, so just in your water tank in there, you will see two bungs. And the top bung is a travel drain. It's your recommended weight for carrying water, so you don't use too many mpgs. Your bottom bung is if you were winterising the vehicle, or if you're just packing up on site and you want to clear down your fresh water tank, that's where you'll drain it from. Okay, so next up is your leisure battery and fuses, which is located just under this seat here, just directly behind your front passenger seat. You can take these cushions away, pull this panel up, and that will reveal your leisure battery and your fuses. Okay, so next up we've got your fly screens, blinds, windows and skylights. I'm going to use the kitchen window here as a demonstration. So, first things first, we have fly screen behind. Okay, and then we have in front of it your blind, which if you take all the way down to the bottom, it will lock off in place. Just pop it down again and then it will then spring load back up. Now for your window, you'll see we have little buttons on the latches. And pop the window out, and you've also got these little sort of tightening nuts on the end. Tighten them up to where you need to be. Bob's your uncle, your window's open. Just loosen them off. Make sure that when you're putting the latches back down that they click into place. They are relatively stiff because of the newness, but that's not a bad thing. Now it is important to make sure that windows are all shut, so when you are leaving site or leaving home, make sure those windows are shut because they are made of plastic and they will take off if you have them open. We'll move on to the skylight just behind me here. Now same rule applies with this. Make sure that you close it when you leave site and it remains closed for the journey, because for whatever reason you do not want that open when you're travelling. So again, we have a blind, we have a fly screen, and then we have obviously your opening for your skylight. And there we are, locked off. As I say, remember, close it all up when you leave. Now as we move on to the beds, obviously this is a fixed bed. The beauty of a fixed bed is you haven't got to make it all up. Now, what we have under here is excellent storage. As you can see just there. The other thing is, obviously, we did say that it's a flex space bed. So I do have somebody outside that's just going to wind it up and down and just show you the height that it drops to. And obviously with the bed coming up, it alleviates more space for you in the garage. Okay, so we're going to move on to your electric bed now. So obviously we have these handy ladders for you to be able to get up and down, in and out of it. Now all you need to do, just on the right hand side here, hit the downward button, and it'll come down as far as it needs to. Okay, so a couple of things. We do have your netting here to save you rolling out into the kitchen. It is hooked on just here and also just to the sides, obviously to keep you contained in the bed. Second of all, with your duvet, you're okay to leave that up here. However, your pillows, it's best to take off because the fuses will trip thinking potentially that there is somebody on there. So it's best to remove those and maybe pop them up there. Once you're finished with the bed, all you need to do is pop it up back to the ceiling. As easy as that. So thank you for watching our video today on the 696. Hope you found it informative.